Hi everyone, it is December 7, 2019. I'm going to play a few minutes of several videos. I'm going to show you what the sky looks like in Anderson, South Carolina. I'm going to go through one document that I believe proves that our atmosphere now is so saturated with these nanoparticulates, heavy metals, that we are breathing. We are breathing. All life is breathing. And it is causing chaos within our physical bodies. This is cabin talk, but it's not on that channel. It was mirrored. Ice and Willis. The test results of my snow are in aluminum, barium, strontium, sulfur. She had her snow tested. She noticed that her shepherd went outside, was picking up his or her paws. Anybody who has dogs, when it's really, really super, super cold out, and when they are walking on the snow or ice, they start picking up their paws because it hurts. They're in pain. But it wasn't that cold out. And anybody who has dogs, particularly, well, I'm not sure what kind of shepherd she has, but they love the snow. They love being outside. I had shepherds, and one didn't ever want to come in. She would just sleep out in the snow. I have been noticing the air feeling like ice. The temperature in the past, I'd say 3 nights, when the sun goes down and it's completely down, there's a sudden shift in the temperature. But I'm not even sure if the temperature is changing or it's something else. But it feels like the air became ice. Ice. Now, winter was my favorite season, and I always loved the cold. And granted, yes, I'm getting older, and, I don't have too much weight on me, so maybe that is in part, but no, the air has changed. And what is really interesting is these past 3 nights. Now, it's warm out today in South Carolina, here where I am, upstate. But when that sun goes down, it feels like there's a temperature plummet. But it's almost painful to be out in it because there's like an icy feeling to it. So when she was talking about being outside with her shepherd, and it's not that cold out, and the dogs, they're lifting up their paws, they don't want to be standing on the snow, they are exhibiting that behavior that says, hey, I'm in pain. Well, things have changed. Our environment has radically changed. So when she saw that, she got her snow tested and listened to the results.
Results are really interesting and saddening. So there are levels like the minimum detectable level, and then there is the reporting level when it needs to be reported. So I'm going to go through all 4 of those. I'm going to start with sulfur. Minimum detectable level is 20. Reporting level would be 100. I had 58. So I'm somewhere in the middle. We have strontium. Minimum is 0.1. Reporting level is 0.5. I had 0.4. So just under the reporting level. Barium, again, minimum is 0.1, reporting is 0.5, I had 0.6. So those are all a little high, but not shocking, but high. And then we have aluminum, which the minimum is 1.5. Reporting level is 5.0, and I had 28.2. 28.2, which, again, not knowing about science, and I can hold that up real quick. I don't know whether you guys can see that. Here we go. It's backwards, but you know, you can kind of see what's going on there. So without knowing the science behind it, just normal thinking, if it's cold and there is metal, it feels colder. So if there was that much aluminum in my snow, no wonder the dogs were like, you know, footing around. It must feel much colder, and that's why it felt much colder on my hands when I tried to make a snowball, because my hands were going, oh my God, I wanted to get it off of my hands. It felt so cold. And I make snowballs all the time for my shepherd and just throw them for her, like instead of tennis balls in the winter.
Okay. To my subscriber who sent this along to me, thank you, because this is exactly what I have been experiencing. But there's no snow here, but there's an ice. There's an icy feeling, which leads me to believe that the saturation, particularly of nano aluminum in our atmosphere, is so great now that, well, is it just in the snow? Is it just in the air? Of course it's not.
Let's get into this. Now, the research study I am referring to was conducted by Healthy Babies, Bright Future, and that was done here in the United States. Now, what they did is they pulled 168 different types of foods. So this could be puree foods in jars, pouches, puffs, teethers, even formula from 61 different brands. Some of these brands we all know and thought we loved. I will name them, don't you worry. And what they did is they took these different types of foods from these 61 different brands and they tested them for 4 different types of heavy metals. These 4 heavy metals include lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. So I'm going to name a few of the brands that were pulled for this report. Plum Organics, Infamil, Up and Up, that's the Target brand, Earth's Best, Ella's Kitchen, Gerber, Happy Baby, Sprout, Similac, and Beech Nut, just to name a few. And of course, I believe that every parent should have access to this information so that they're able to make the most informed decision for their little one, which is why I am linking this study in the description box below. So feel free to click the link and just review it. I mean, they have a summary and they have the full report. And it was put together beautifully. It's really easy to get through and digest with a lot of charts and pictures, making it easy for parents to understand the big picture. So long story short, 148 of the 168 foods that were tested came back contaminated with at least one of the heavy metals that I've mentioned prior. So if you're not aware of what the potential impact can be of too much exposure from these heavy metals, I'll share with you that these are no neurotoxins, which means it's toxic for any of our brains, but especially our little ones whose brains are developing at a rapid speed and they're the most vulnerable. It's been known to decrease our little ones' IQ scores, have negative impact in terms of cognitive development, and it's even been linked with cancer. So of course you're probably wondering, how is it even possible that brands are able to sell foods that might not be safe for our babies with these heavy metals that are being detected during testing? And the current issue really is that there is little to no regulation in terms of enforceable federal safety limits, which essentially leaves it up to the brand's discretion to try and lower the amounts of trace heavy metals that are found in their products. And while it's important,
Okay. The FDA is not an agency that is there to protect Americans. This is on Kids OT Help, lead and arsenic in baby food, contaminated baby food, heavy metals in baby food, lead, arsenic, and cadmium. are 3 of the ingredients, substances, that they spray up there. And mercury, I don't know, but the saturation now, you think you're getting organic baby foods or organic foods? I'm sorry to tell you, we're not. Because of the spraying and because of pesticides and herbicides, and many of the organics that are labeled as such are not organic. The lying in our country is also, we're saturated with that too. So when you see an organic label, you cannot rely on that word, it being organic. But we have seen major spraying concentrations increase every year, and that all comes down on our foods. Are the kids more important? Absolutely, because they have brains that are developing, and because their skull is weaker than an adult skull, what they're breathing, it passes right on through their developing blood-brain barrier. So kids are really growing up in these toxic environments, and you wonder why kids are not healthy in America anymore.
A recent study of newborn babies in Butte found an alarmingly high level of metals in their body.
MTN's John Amy spoke with one of the authors of that study and found out how she wants more research done on this issue.
A 2018 study conducted by a Montana Tech chemistry professor measuring metal concentration in newborn stool samples in Butte started as a small experiment. It ended with a big result.
I expected to see a higher metal concentration in Butte, but I didn't expect it to be this large. So we were very surprised.
15 samples were taken from healthy babies in Butte and compared with 17 samples from newborns in South Carolina. Higher levels of copper, zinc, and manganese were found in the babies from Butte.
And so more samples should be collected. A much larger study should be conducted.
Dr. Haler is seeking a grant for a proposed 5-year study that will...
I have to wonder why they took the samples from South Carolinian newborns. This is a study done by a professor in Montana. So, this is a very important connection. Now, what we're eating and what we're breathing and what we're drinking, because there are many fruit juices, that's another recent study, fruit juices are toxic, contaminated with heavy metals. Okay, let's listen to this.
Nearly 200 scientists have submitted an appeal to the United Nations requesting it to adopt guidelines to protect against electromagnetic radiation that emits from cell phones, laptops, tablets, and other wireless devices. And the constant electromagnetic radiation from communication towers could lead to cancer and also cause neurological, cardiac, and respiratory disorders.
I'm here with disturbing news about our favorite gadgets, cell phones, tablets, Wi-Fi, etc. Putting it bluntly, they are damaging the living cells in our bodies and killing many of us prematurely. Before Edison's light bulb, there was very little electromagnetic radiation in our environment. The levels today are very many times higher than natural background levels and are growing rapidly because of all the new devices that emit this radiation. An example that a lot of us have in our pockets right now is the cell phone. One study shows that as cell phone usage has spread widely, the incidence of fatal brain cancer in younger people has more than tripled. We are putting cellular antennas on residential buildings and on top of hospitals where people are trying to get well. Wireless utility meters and cell towers are blanketing our neighborhoods with radiation. It's particularly frightening that radiation from our telecommunication and power line technology is damaging the DNA in our cells. It is clear to many biologists that this can account for the rising cancer rates. And so today, scientists from around the world are submitting an appeal to the United Nations, its member states, and the World Health Organization to provide leadership in dealing with this emerging public health crisis.
Okay, and that was in 2015, and nothing has happened but for the increase, the greater saturation of these electromagnetic frequencies. So let's listen to what electromagnetic frequencies can do to our bodies.
A acquainted physician in Switzerland who's the main mold researcher in Europe made a beautiful experiment. He grew mold cultures under a Faraday cage. Yeah, it's simply like a silver coat. It looks like a mosquito net that is made out of silver-coated cloth that's been draped over the mold culture. And he measured how much mycotoxins, how much toxins are these molds producing on a daily basis. It's pretty easy to do. Then he lifted the mosquito net and exposed the mold culture to the ambient electromagnetic radiation in his laboratory, which was caused by the lights that were on the computer in a corner, and especially, and he found that later, the ambient cell phone radiation, from the nearby cell phone tower that was broadcasting cell phone radiation. He found out that the production of biotoxins in this culture went up more than 600 times. Not only that the molds suddenly put out significantly more mycotoxins to protect themselves, but also much more virulent, much more vicious, more poisonous mycotoxins. And I took that experiment was for me a big light bulb went on. And that is, when you have a mom, I bring it back now to the mom, that has maybe low-grade Lyme disease, clinically not relevant Lyme disease, she has an infection, there's a few microbes in there that shouldn't be there, but mom is doing well. Now, you expose this mom to significant amounts of electromagnetic fields of the same nature as in this laboratory in Switzerland. The molds inside us and the Lyme spirochetes inside this mom suddenly believe they're being attacked, or they feel they're being attacked, and they respond to that attack with the only mechanism that they have, and that is to produce more potent biotoxins and more biotoxins and more potent biotoxins. And with that, suddenly mom's system is overwhelmed with biotoxins, and also the molds and the spirochetes and the mycoplasma starts multiplying. They think they're being attacked, they're threatened to be extinguished, and so the response is to make more babies, so there's more of them, so chances of the genes to survive are higher. This is a simple, pure biological response that can be seen anywhere in nature.
So, electromagnetic frequencies open the blood-brain barrier, allowing the very easy crossing of heavy metals, the nanoparticulates that we are breathing, right smack into our brain. All right. This was on the 29th of November. This is our sky every night, virtually every single night. We now have these pink clouds, black clouds, orange horizon, or a yellow horizon. This is not from the sun setting. As you can see, there are just a few clouds that are greatly illuminated, but not all of them. So, why? I'll get into that in a moment. But do you see what is clearly not right, as they say, in the South, I guess? You ain't right. Did you see that the camera going out of focus? That is a pulsating frequency that's not just up in the sky, but it's pulsing in you, affecting every cell in your body. You may not feel it, but it's happening. And when you realize that these pulsating frequencies are very dangerous, and you look at what's in our atmosphere, what's creating this hot pink color, and the black, and the white, and the gray. Wow. Now that is a hot pink. What is creating all of that? This is a very long pulse. And you will see the camera instantly go right back into focus. Wow, okay. So all of that, what's dripping down there, the gray, it's coming on down, and we're breathing it. So are the trees. So are the four-leggeds. The heavy metal concentration now, it's... They don't have to spray to create clouds anymore, because they're so... Because our atmosphere now has so significantly, radically changed due to the geoengineering, the aerosol spraying of toxic chemicals and heavy metals that are, well, you can't see them because these are the nanotechnology, nanoparticulates, and they go into your body through your skin. You're breathing it. You open your mouth, they're in there. And people are really suffering the consequences now. Let me just jump ahead to the 30th, the next day. Do you think that what they are spraying doesn't come down to our foods? And considering the phenomenal increase in the spraying, it has made the earth toxic. Anybody who could claim that this is a natural sky is clearly out of their mind. This sky right here is so toxic. They just continue to spray, saturating the atmosphere even more. And it was... I have not been feeling well. And in recent days, I have been experiencing a pain that is really hard to take. the illumination, the ionization of clouds, which you can see right here. You can see the microwaves, you can see the ripples, the evenly spaced ripples in our cloud, artificial clouds. And you can see the camera going out of focus. No one talks about this, but when you hear these reports of heavy metals contaminating foods, contaminating baby foods, contaminating fruit juices, contaminating virtually everything that, well, exists on the ground, then you listen to these reports and you wonder, alrighty, they're ignoring the obvious. They're ignoring what is happening in our skies. Completely ignoring it. The cumulative effect of the electromagnetic frequencies, then add all of the nanoparticulates that we are breathing, it is really, well, taking its toll. And one of the tolls is our white sun. Now, some believe that this is a sun simulator. I believe it's our sun, but because our atmosphere is so saturated with these heavy metals, aluminum, that it is reflecting a white sun instead of the natural yellow sun. That's my guess. And the sun really has become pretty dangerous these days. This is the third. That's right above where I live. And I'm seeing microwaves in our sky every friggin' day. So, then you have the smart meters. Then you have the Wi-Fi. Now that's my apartment. On either side, my neighbors have Wi-Fi. And I think, there's a lot of factors that I could point to that certainly are contributing to the pain, the physical pain that I'm feeling. The Wi-Fi, the additional Wi-Fi from the neighbor on the other side. Now I'm getting hit from both sides. And because the apartments are so small, there's no escape. Look at this illuminating cloud. That is, I see more frequently as well. But none of what you see is natural. It's all being created artificially. That's an artificial cloud. Artificial clouds. Now with the frequencies, they can create, they can take a small line, these are the microwaves. Well, that's one reason. This is a daily nightmare of listening to these machines and, oh man. All right. Yeah, look at all of the toxins in this. I'm sorry for the noise. God. I'm sorry about the noise. It's hard to take. It's an every day. Don't know the schedule. Yeah, this is what happens. It's really hard to take. Listen to this. So, it is, he was there in the same spot yesterday. He never finished what he was doing. I never know when they're coming back. I try to do videos. I'm constantly interrupted, and it causes great frustration and stress. So stress is really very toxic as well. And all of it, because I've been living like this for so long, it is absolutely taking its toll, and I have no control. There's no way. I can't get out of here. I'm stuck here, and it's an everyday, you got to suck it up. Well, this is not how we should be living at all. Yeah. So, microwaves, black cloud, white up against a white cloud, and it's, well, this is what they call cloudy days now. Look at the pulsating frequencies, the ripples in the clouds. Every day now I see this, unless we've got that horizon to horizon, full out, blanketed white sky. Look, what we're going to be finding is that people are just going to get worse and worse. Physically, mentally, spiritually for sure, emotionally. Because there's an awful lot of Americans who are stressed out now, financially, and you know, it's not just the quote-unquote awake crowd that is experiencing this kind of, hey, I have no one to relate to, but it's everyone. The breakdown in humanity, the breakdown in social relationships, you can't count on anyone. People are finding it very, very difficult to find anyone to relate to. And frankly, I find this moon very strange, because why can I zoom in so closely to this to even see the craters? So are we just living a hologram? We might be. You know, everything is just so unreal. All right, so let me just show you, how about the 4th? Wow, now that's quite the sky. By the way, I have to try to do this quickly before he comes back, because he was just taking that carting off the leaves to dump, and he's going to come back. So, what's going on? We've got pink clouds, we've got red skies, we've got orange skies, we've got gold skies, we've got black skies, we've got, oh, another pulse, and the microwaves, and more pulsating frequencies. All of this is killing life, our life, making us sick. People are already dying. Trees are dying all over the place. But no one talks about what is so right smack in front of their face. This is a toxic sky. And what you hear, oh my God, it's so beautiful. No, it is not beautiful. It is toxic. And they're putting it in our air, and we're breathing it. All right. So, Foreign Technology Division, artificial clouds in the Earth's atmosphere. Yeah, this was a Russian document translated. USSR. So, what did they find? Artificial luminous clouds. They proposed discharging a small quantity of sodium vapor into the atmosphere by rockets. Because of resonant emission, the sodium atoms illuminated by the sun should form a luminous cloud in the atmosphere clearly visible from the Earth. Experiments confirmed sodium atoms glow in the upper atmosphere. We see glowing clouds now. After sodium, they tried other ingredients like lithium, potassium, cesium, barium oxide, europium, titanium, tetrachloride, and trimethyl aluminum. Capable of creating neutral and even ionized clouds. And we see ionized clouds, which I just showed you. New type of artificial cloud appeared, smoke clouds, which I posted videos on the smoke clouds. When you see those clouds in your sky that look like cauliflower, hang on, smoke clouds. Smoke clouds. So if you see clouds like this in the sky and watch them, you will see black begin to appear, black lines and black around the edges, smoke clouds. Okay, so using aluminum, barium, potassium, cesium, lithium, they were able to create a new type of artificial cloud, artificial luminous clouds. They proposed discharging a small quantity, oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong place. Okay, and he's back. Use of various substances glow as a result of chemical reactions with environmental components. 1970s, research on electrical fields from observations of the drift of ionized clouds. It's simple to create clouds, and the intensity of illumination in different spectral bands, different colors. As soon as the cloud appeared in the atmosphere, an astonishing spectacle whose beauty is probably only exceeded by the polar aurora begins to unfold in the sky. A long blue-green wake forms in the atmosphere from the discharge of trimethyl aluminum, interspersed with red and orange spheres from the discharge of lithium and sodium. Barium bursts out in a light blue cloud, rapidly separates into neutral and ionized parts, will go off, and this is what we are breathing. We are breathing all of these nanoparticulates. So the pink and the purple skies and the gold and the orange and this is not beautiful. This is not what we have ever seen before. It should be obvious to everyone that something is not right, and yet you get people who just think, wow, or they don't care. And you can see the microwaves. If you look closely, you'll see the ripples within the atmosphere. This is now our sky. The radical permanent change due to heavy metals, toxic chemicals. What we do know that they're spraying, what we do know is bad enough. What are they spraying that we don't know? When we can't get people to acknowledge what is right smack in their face, that means that they'll be dumping more and more of this into our atmosphere. Children are breathing it. We are breathing it. Our food is becoming saturated. And that's all from me. All links are below, guys. All links are below. Look at the illuminated cloud. The ionized cloud. Yep. And a pulsating frequency to go along with it.